All right. So we had about 2 minutes of jib jab.
Of jib jab.
Of jib jab.
Jibjab.com.
Okay.
Just get on real close.
Yep. I put a Nintendo Switch cartridge in my mouth once, and I wanted to kill myself. Welcome to the J&J Radio Show. This is Jordan.
And this is Justin. Thank you for tuning in to our actual first episode. I think that was it, actually. That's all we wanted to talk about.
That's all we wanted to talk about.
Just goodbye. Have a good...
See ya.
Bye. Okay, so today we're actually... That was that little aside, I guess, is related to what we're talking about today. So today we are going to be discussing the Nintendo Switch and kind of Nintendo as a company. Just where they come from and...
Right.
What they're doing now and their effect on the industry.
I think first one thing that we should clear out of the way is what's your perfect Sunday?
Well, I wake up at about 11 a.m. To Kenny G.
Oh, thank God. Naked, drinking cup of Joe.
Not like the music. I mean actually him with saxophone in my bed.
Okay, good. No, what is your personal favorite Nintendo console? What was Nintendo's console that really you were just like, yes, Nintendo, please?
Wow, like based on its library?
Library, like literally everything, just as a
general?
whole. Yeah, I mean, library definitely has a
big. So I have to say,
big part.
I have to say this is probably gonna get a lot of ire, but I have to say my favorite Nintendo console is the Nintendo Wii.
Ooh,
and the reason for that, people are probably...
What about the 64? What about the GameCube?
Okay, so here's my defense for that.
Defend.
All right. For one thing, the Nintendo Wii gets a lot of bonus points for me because Nintendo just clearly did not give a crap about security, and so hacking the Nintendo Wii, it was so incredibly easy.
Yep.
I remember the easiest method that ever was developed, that eventually they did patch, was the letter bomb method, where you literally just put a message on your SD card and then load the SD card, and boom, it'll open up the Hack Me program. It was insane. And because of that, you could play... There were programs that allows you to play GameCube games off of a USB stick or an SD card. Mm-hmm. And so there you got the entire GameCube library right there. Games that allowed you to play programs that allowed you to play Wii games off of USB. There's the entire Wii library. And, of course, you could install the Wii Shop channel, any channel you wanted to, for free, which is all of the classic N64 games and NES and SNES games. And so it was like, it's as an all-in-one console, it had the best library because it had its older libraries available to you. Okay. And there were a lot of Wii games that were good too, like No More Heroes was always a big favorite.
Yeah, there's always a few gems like with the Wii. You always got those outstanding gems like Okami's on the Wii.
Yeah.
But like you said, No More Heroes. There are gems, believe it or not. You have to sift through a lot of garbage.
So much shovelware on the Wii.
So much garbage.
Oh my God! Imagine Party Babies.
Oh God!
Why's your water? I'm so sorry. Get the shit out of here.
I like that the Wii is your favorite console just because of how exploitable it is.
I mean, it's not just because it's hackable, but because it unlocks the libraries of the older consoles.
Yeah.
And the GameCube controller, the best controller they ever came up with, is compatible with it. So it has, I would say the GameCube, but everything good about the GameCube is also on the Wii and more. So it's you can also look at porn on the Wii Internet channel, even though that's down. I don't think that works anymore.
I know you used to. Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the novelty of it.
Yeah, just for the sexual thrill.
I'm masturbating right now. So what is your favorite Nintendo console?
For me...
The Wii U. That, ladies and gentlemen, was more advertising than Nintendo ever did for the Wii U.
For me, it was the GameCube.
Okay.
It was the GameCube. Even though the very first video game I ever remember consciously playing is Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64.
Right.
But the GameCube, me and my brother got for Christmas, and Luigi's Mansion was a launch title, and we took it home, played Luigi's Mansion. I fell in love. You got Luigi's Mansion, absolutely incredible.
Yep.
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which is
get the fuck out of here.
You don't mess that. That was the last good Sonic game. That is arguably the best Sonic game.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
It's arguably the
terrible.
best. It was so good.
Oh my God.
Best Sonic
It had
game.
a good opening level, and that was it. Everything after that was downhill.
Downhill.
Oh God, I hate that game.
And then obviously you got your Melee and And don't forget Naruto Clash of Ninja.
How could I? How could I forget that classic gem?
I love that console. I loved how novelty it was, a little tiny little
Yeah,
box.
little box,
handle.
little discs.
I can 100% agree with you that controller was the best controller.
So it's one
that
of my favorite
controller
controllers
it was
of
so
any console.
comfortable.
Yeah.
It's such a comfortable controller.
It is.
So that would be my personal favorite.
All right, yeah.
So let's break it down. What do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the Switch first, or would you rather move on to where Nintendo is now?
I think they're kind of one and the same because the Switch is sort of a result of their design philosophy. And one thing that I wanted to talk about is the impact of Satoru Iwata's death on the design direction of Nintendo.
Yeah.
So Satoru Iwata was from what I could tell, from what I've read about him, he was very adamant on the concept that games should be fun first, which is very much in line with how I feel about video games too. So that's why I like Nintendo up to a point. And he was pretty much very hesitant to adapt to newer design philosophies. He didn't want to have mobile games.
Yeah, I know he was very adamant on that. He was like, no, I don't want mobile games. And now look where we're at now.
Yeah, he didn't want DLC, and again, look where we're at.
Yep.
And the reason that a lot of people will look at like the Nintendo Wii and the Wii U and they'll say, well, these are all gimmicky consoles. They all rely
very
on
gimmicky on like your motion and like how the controller was literally a remote.
Yeah,
it wasn't
actual
yeah,
remote. And
that was the primary controller. So it's like, whoa, like I do understand like where it is like gimmicky.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't. I think they don't appreciate.
Is this my water?
That is your water.
Okay, thank God.
We discussed this already. I think a lot of people don't really appreciate that was kind of Iwata and Nintendo as a whole's viewpoint on what's important in a game is to be innovative in your designs, not in your hardware specs. Which is why Nintendo has always lagged behind hardware-wise, why their consoles have always been underpowered
always
compared
weaker.
to their contemporaries.
Yeah, comparatively.
Because it didn't matter, because their games, their first-party games, were always really interesting and fun.
Yes.
One of the problems with the Wii U is I feel like it was a little bit too dependent on the tablet design, and
yeah, I can definitely like for example, Zombie U did a really, really good job incorporating the tablet. Like it meant something. Like you actually had to be careful because if you checked the tablet, you could be dying.
Yeah.
So and that was a way like to open your backpack. So I thought Zombie U was a really good idea with the tablet. Yeah. And I do like the fact that like let's say, oh man, I'm tired, I'm gonna go to bed, turn off the TV, turn off the lights, boom, you can still play like Yoshi's Woolly World on the tablet
if you really want to.
Yeah, if you really wanted to, but as soon as you got 5 feet away from the console, it was like, whoa, where are you going?
Mobile?
Yeah, what? So I think that's where they went with the Switch. They were like,
solve that problem.
Yeah, they were like, let's make the literal console. Like, I always ask people that bought a Switch,
why?
How do you feel that you bought a tablet? It's a tablet.
It is a tablet.
It's a tablet.
Yeah, it is.
And I hate to kind of derail with what you were talking about.
That's fine.
But I don't understand because when Michael, our friend Michael, first handed me his Switch, I held it. I had the Joy-Cons attached to it. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Month or two down the road, I went over to Tyler's house, and I saw the Switch without the Joy-Cons, and I held it in my hand. I was like, this is so small. There are iPads bigger than this.
Yeah.
This is such a small tablet. This is the console?
Yeah.
I didn't know how to feel. It really threw me for a loop. I am one of those very, very few people that did not mind the Wii U. I do agree that it failed. They did a terrible job marketing it. I don't know. They did a phenomenal job marketing the Wii.
Yeah, they did.
The Wii would like to play. Genius. Seriously, the marketing for that was incredible. I don't know what happened with the Wii U, but it failed on numerous levels, and it was all their fault.
There were a lot of things. We could go into that right now. There were a lot of things, little things that ended up with the Wii U's demise, and what it came down to was marketing. Of course, was a big thing.
Very big. Could you tell me a single Wii U commercial?
I can't remember any of them. I like the only things I remember about them are things you could say about every Wii. The Wii commercials, the Wii U commercials, and the Switch commercials all had the same themes of like families playing together. And it's like a fun family. The family thing was always their marketing campaign in the West.
But everyone remembers Wii would like to play.
The two guys at the door. And everyone
knew that, and
it was vaguely racist.
Yeah.
Just vaguely. It's like, can it be racist if it comes from the Japanese themselves? Yes.
News at 11.
Love it.
The only thing I remember about the Wii U is I remember seeing a commercial about a girl playing a golf game with a tablet on the floor.
Yes, and doing the thing.
And that's
Did
all I remember.
Did that ever come to pass? Did they ever make that game?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
That is the only thing I remember marketing-wise.
Well, the marketing of the Wii U was problematic, not just because there was not a lot of it, but because it was the name and the design of the console itself, not the tablet, but the actual console, led casual gamers to believe it was an extension to the Wii. And they thought, I already have a Wii. And that's just the end of their thought, because it looked a lot like a smaller Wii.
It did.
And so, it's just a tablet for the Wii, and I don't need that. I've got my Wii Sports, and I've got my Super Mario Brothers, and so a lot of people didn't really understand that it was a whole new console with exclusives to the console. And then those of us who didn't see enough exclusives to make it worth buying, because a lot of the games that came out on that console were either underwhelmingly, I guess not underwhelmingly, but they were undermarketed themselves, like Zombie U, a sleeper hit. No one wanted.
Yeah, it was actually really good. Like for the Wii U, it was a good game.
Apparently.
Yeah, like I had a blast with it. I never beat it, but I played a good portion of it, and I was like, this is actually pretty fun. Like, it's the one downside about Zombie U is, like, every time you die, you play a completely different character, and you can meet that character you previously played in the world and kill them and take all your stuff back. But the thing is, there was no emotional attachment to the characters.
Naturally.
You had to make them yourself.
Yeah.
So I came up with my own backstory for the guy that I'm playing with right now.
role-played.
Yeah, so I role-played to make the attachment.
There you go.
So
that's pretty cool. But,
sleeper hit.
Yeah,
good
sleeper
game.
hit. Very good game. And that's the problem, though, is that was a launch title.
Yes.
One of the biggest things for Nintendo consoles has been their launch titles. Since the N64 had Super Mario 64, the GameCube had Melee, and it had Luigi's Mansion.
Was Melee a launch title?
It was, I believe. I remember. Okay. I remember one of the things Iwata did was he helped the team make it to the launch date.
Okay.
Because it was lagging behind way bad. And if not, it was very soon after. But it was close enough.
I know Luigi's Mansion was, and that game's gold.
Oh god! I guess not just launch title, but games that were marketed while the console was being marketed before it came out.
Yeah.
So they had that, and then the Nintendo Wii, obviously for the casual gamers, had Wii Sports, which is the reason it sold so well. And because they packaged it with the console. That was something that was kind of surprising to a lot of people.
Yeah, with every console. Normally you have to get like an exclusive bundle.
Yeah.
Like, if you get this bundle, you get like here's like the Gears of War 4 Xbox One bundle.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Here's the Forza.
It's like some sort of specific company's promotion, but this is just it
every
comes with
single Wii system.
Yeah, it was a physical one too.
Yeah.
That's something that some consoles I could imagine doing that on a digital basis, where it's like every account has Peggle 3 or whatever. But yeah, that was pretty impressive. And then for the core gamers, Twilight Princess came out for the Wii. It was as a launch title, and the GameCube. It also came out for the GameCube, but it was just something most people considered a Wii Zelda, because GameCube had its Zelda. It had Wind Waker.
Yep.
So they considered it a Wii Zelda because they had that same concept that most people have about multi-generational releases, is that the lesser the generation, the worse the game will be. Mm-hmm. Like, the 360 and PS3 versions of GTA 5. Like, no one really plays that.
Yeah, no one really has.
So that was what the Wii had, but the Wii U didn't. It didn't have any strong launch titles. No one's...
I don't even remember.
I can't remember any... Besides Zombie U, I can't remember any of them as launch titles. I remember knowing about Wonderful 101 and, of course, Smash. But... Oh, no, that's...
I don't even think Smash.
No, there was... I mean, because people were expecting Smash, but it didn't happen.
Nope.
And then Mario Kart 8 was supposed to be its big, like... its big hit.
Like, a lot of... Like, honestly, when it came to the Wii U, a lot of the... really, really good games didn't come out towards the end.
Yeah.
Like Yoshi's Woolly World. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Then there was, like I said, Yoshi's Woolly World. Then there was, God, what was that one game that I'm thinking of? Super Mario Maker was amazing.
Yeah.
At end of its Mario Kart 8, phenomenal. End of its life cycle. Here, I pulled up the launch titles. Check this out. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
New Super Mario Bros. U.
Okay, that was a big one.
Nintendo Land.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Zombie U. Batman Arkham City. That's all I'm seeing.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Like Assassin's Creed 3, Black Ops 2.
Yeah, the ports that no one wanted.
Yeah, like I'm really trying to look. Actually, those might not even be in the launch titles. I really need to find out what these launch titles were because I'm not kidding. I honestly can't remember.
There weren't many. They just kind of pooped it out. And the problem was that everyone was expecting Mario Kart 8 to do for the Wii U what Mario Kart Wii did for the Wii, and because that was a huge seller for for the Wii, but it didn't work. No one wanted it, or at least I'm sure a lot of people wanted it, but no one wanted to buy it. And another big turnover point for the Wii was Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and Wii U didn't get that either. So it was just they didn't have enough support all the way around. The Wii U was just kind of like the neglected stepchild of Nintendo world.
It didn't have any blaring like seriously, Switch, Breath of the Wild.
Oh god,
that huge launch title.
Super Mario Odyssey was enough to sell the console even though it's not out yet.
Yeah, hands down, like absolutely. So it seems like all of them had good launch titles except for this new one. Yeah, like literally I'm seeing right now I got a list like Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Arkham City Armored Edition, Black Ops 2, like some sports games, Just Dance.
Yeah, the easy ones.
Yeah,
the one-to-one ports.
Yeah, and then literally you got New Super Mario Bros. U, Nintendo Land, and that's it. Those are like the two.
Yeah. People
that's it.
People were kind of, I think people were getting kind of tired of the New Super Mario Brothers series as a whole because they had a couple of them on the Wii and the 3DS already had theirs.
Yeah, and, the regular DS had it, the 3DS had it.
Yeah, so I think people got their fill of the New Super Mario Brothers series, and then no one really cared for Nintendo Land.
Yeah,
like it just seemed.
I didn't even care for it.
I remember Nintendo Land. No, it wasn't Nintendo Land. It was NES Remix.
Yeah.
NES Remix had a weird glitch where like they had leaderboards for how fast you can complete certain levels, and it turned out if you just kept pausing the game, the timer wouldn't advance. So people kept getting 0 second times on these leaderboards, and it took them a while to fix it.
Good God.
But anyway, so yeah, and the other major problem with the Wii U is the timing of its release. The GameCube, the Wii, and the Switch all categorically fall into one of the generations, whereas the Wii U came out not toward the end, but well, actually, yeah, toward the end of the life cycle of the 7th gen.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like it wasn't a competitor to anything. It wasn't like it didn't release at any time when people thought of it as a real standalone console because none of the other companies were releasing their consoles. It was too early to be 8th gen. Yeah. And it was too late to be a 7th gen competitor. So it just kind of fell in between the generations, and that combined with its marketing and its lineup made it seem like Nintendo wasn't trying.
Yeah, the Wii U, I could honestly say, I think almost killed Nintendo.
I wouldn't say that. Nintendo were very frugal with their money. I remember reading a report that said that they had enough money that if they operated at a loss for 50 years, they'd still be able to stay afloat.
Oh, really?
That's what I read. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, but I wouldn't doubt it because the Japanese tend to be very frugal with that kind of thing. They don't tend to just blow out like like Western companies seem to like to do. So I don't think it almost killed them, but what it did do was it shuffled their priorities.
Yeah.
People started to see Iwata's vision as just making a fun, interesting console as not being good enough anymore because it wasn't selling. Because even Nintendo has a board of directors they have to report to. And these board of directors, they don't understand fun games. They understand products that sell.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but it's necessary for any capitalist-related market.
Yeah. I just remember that they had to start dumping their own money into the company, right?
Yeah. They had to start. Yeah, I remember one of the things that made Iwata popular to the West anyway was he took a major pay cut for a couple of years to help pay back the Wii U's losses.
Yeah.
So
and then Amiibos. Amiibos hit. Amiibops hit and actually helped out a lot.
It's kind of a shame that the Skylanders gimmick worked better than like a console that was trying to do something new.
Yeah.
But that is the nature of the industry, and I'm not too bitter about it because it makes sense. You know, it's people love toys.
Yeah.
So it's I can't.
The main appeal is not only are the Nintendo characters very iconic, but you could not find any kind of figurines for Captain Falcon.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell are you gonna find a figure for him except for an amiibo?
Exactly.
Where are you gonna find figures of all like the Fire Emblem characters?
Yeah.
They just came out with Bayonetta, and the Bayonetta figurines. It's like you're not gonna find them.
Not for less than $150 each.
Yeah, right. And I am a big amiibo collector, by the way. I do collect.
Full disclosure, he's a faggot.
Full disclosure, I do collect me some amiibops. I mainly focus on the Smash Bros ones, though.
Yeah.
There's like the Kirby line I just kind of ignored.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda 20th anniversary ones I just kind of ignored.
Yeah.
But, anyways, so the Wii U, obviously, they messed up bad.
They did.
Really, really, really
They
bad.
put too much money into something that ended up just being kind of like a testing the waters kind of console.
And it was extremely similar to the Wii.
It was.
And one thing I will respect is the backwards compatibility that Nintendo always follows.
Absolutely.
Like you had, the Wii U played GameCube. Sorry, the Wii played GameCube games, and then the Wii U played Wii games.
Yeah.
So that's super sick. But now, let's go for the Switch. Let's run towards the Switch, right?
Yeah.
This glorified tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I respect the launch title. Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That was the head honcho that drove that console.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And it did.
And then shortly after the console releases, like, boom, Splatoon 2 hits.
Yeah.
And that's another big one. That's another pretty fun game.
Mm-hmm.
But design-wise, how do you feel about the glorified tablet that is... to me, it almost doesn't feel like an actual console.
Yeah. I kind of... So...
And it throws me off.
From the get-go, I was very, very tentative to support the Switch because from the very beginning design documents of the Nintendo NX, it was supposed to be
that.
The way it was always marketed and phrased in the documents was supposed to be like a bridge between handheld and console gaming. And I couldn't help but think to myself, like, that sounds like if you try and go in two directions, it's like a jack of all trades sort of situation where it can do both, but neither of them work very well.
Yeah, they're both like mediocre in both fields.
Yeah.
Like if it's a console and a handheld, it will do both, but it won't excel.
It won't excel at either. And I was always thinking, like, maybe you should just focus. I like the system they had forever of having a console and then in between handhelds. That works fine.
It's perfect because their handhelds are the best.
Yeah, their handhelds
handhelds
really
are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
The 3DS and then the new 2DS XL, I got a chance to check one out, and they're amazing. They're extremely good consoles. I didn't feel the need to, like, I didn't understand why they felt the need to bring their home consoles and combine them with their handhelds.
Yeah.
Their handhelds are already doing absolutely phenomenal. So why did you have to make your home console a handheld?
I think they honestly were trying in part at least to overcome the criticisms the Wii U had by making a fully mobile console. And it is new. That is a new concept.
Yes. So
I got to give them that. But it just I remember thinking, like, that doesn't sound interesting to me. Not interesting enough to warrant purchasing the console, even for, like, I remember saying to you before it came out, if it's anywhere above $250, I'm not even going to consider it.
Yeah.
Because it's just not worth it for the number of games that have been announced and for just the gimmick of it. And having played both the tablet and the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller, and ARMS, which is a good game. Having played all of the different playstyles, I don't like playing the Switch. I don't think that it feels good, personally.
Okay.
And on top of that, one thing I want to talk about with the Switch is that though Nintendo has always been kind of behind on the hardware specs, and that's always been fine.
Yeah.
They're so far behind now that it's kind of crazy because, like, if you look at the Breath of the Wild frame rate and resolution comparisons, even when it's docked, it can never possibly go above 30 frames per second. And when it's mobile, it goes up to 30, I think, and I think it's as far as 27 to 30. And it's like, and on top of that, the resolution is like 900p when it's not docked, and like an upscaled 1080 when it is. And it's like, this is like really last generation stuff, and you can tell.
It seems like they sacrificed a lot of it just for that gimmick.
They did because like someone actually went and kind of took apart the dock itself, and literally all it is just it's a big case to hold the tablet in, and there's a little, like, probably like 3 or 4 inch square computer chip that serves as a video converter, and that's all it is. It's not new technology. It's nothing. It's not an extension of like a console.
Okay.
It's just a dock. That's all it is. That just projects the image from the tablet onto your TV. And I think that's one kind of misconception people had. They thought it would be a powerful console when it was in the dock, and it's not. It's the same thing. All the console bits are inside the tablet.
Yeah,
and I don't agree with that design either.
That's what confused me, because I was like, because when I saw the dock, I was like, okay, so when you put the tablet in the dock, what is it doing to make it better? What is that dock doing to whatever is displaying on that tablet? Mm-hmm. What is that dock doing to increase it when projecting it onto a television?
It doesn't seem like it does anything. It just projects it and upscales it, and that's it.
And it ends up being a big difference.
It is a huge difference, and something that could be handled by a cord.
Okay,
just plug
one
it
cord
from the tablet into your TV. We can skip the middleman if Nintendo were willing to do that. But I mean, this is the same company that decided not to ship charging cables with their new 3DSs.
That marketing makes zero sense.
It made zero sense. It makes zero sense to me too. But they're much more cost conscious because of the Wii U and because Iwata died, and so they don't have that.
You think they're holding punches back?
I don't know. I think that they're kind of they felt like Iwata was sort of stopping. The shareholders felt Iwata was stopping them from being as profitable as they could be, because he didn't want them to take advantage of the mobile markets. He didn't want them to take advantage of the DLC markets that are objectively and 100% of the time profitable. But now that he's gone, and they don't have that driving force anymore.
Season pass time, baby.
It's season pass
time.
It's DLC out the ass. It's Mario Run and Pokemon Shuffle.
God.
You know, it's like it makes me feel uncomfortable, because it feels like the company that I had a lot of respect for just lost a little bit of my respect because of that. Now, don't get me wrong. I think a company's first and foremost priority should always be to make money. Because
it makes sense.
They need
money
to, like, no matter how starry-eyed I might get about how Nintendo's biggest goal should be to entertain the players, they can't do that without money.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them for this kind of course of action, but it feels like they're moving away from my ideals and more into a stock shareholder ideal, and I don't like it. And the Nintendo Switch always felt like that to me. It felt like it was kind of like a play for cheap design to make as much money as possible. And so I have to say I'm pretty disappointed with how the Switch turned out, especially after having played it and knowing its lineup is just kind of
Yeah, after having some time with it, I was playing it, and I was enjoying ARMS. I actually had a lot of fun with ARMS.
It's fun for a little while.
Yeah. There's not too much content in the game itself, though.
It's super shallow.
Yeah, there's not too much into the game. But the one thing that I can at least respect Nintendo for, regardless of its design decisions with the Switch, would be that they're just so different.
Yeah.
They're so different. Like, I was thinking in comparing these consoles, I was like, okay, the Xbox One is all in one. You can stream your cable through it. You can run like multiple apps at once while still playing games.
Yeah.
There is so much like versatility with the Xbox One and all the different stuff that you can do. Granted, it's less powerful for the PlayStation, but it makes up for its multiple features and being able to run more than one feature at a time.
Yeah.
And then you have the Switch, where the Switch, and then like the Wii and the Wii U, like all of them are just they're so innovative. They try to be extremely different, which I can definitely respect. They may not excel in any of them, but at least it's like, this is so different compared to this. And then with the PS4s, they got the VR, but at the same time, there's like the Vive, and there's a bunch of other VR stuff. So you can't say it's PlayStation's.
Not really.
Just PlayStation. Personally, I don't feel they're too innovative. They're just like good gaming console. Go. It's like, okay. I like the PS4. I like the Xbox One and PS4. They're both fantastic consoles. But I personally think that the PS4 and the PS3, they're not like too crazy innovative.
Yeah, that's the result of being made by a company that does other things besides game consoles. They have a very corporate mindset, and they've been successful for the most part.
Yeah,
because
absolutely. Of it. Yeah, so I guess just the respect I have for Nintendo is also kind of falling just after being able to see what this Switch is and like what it represents, and the God knows what reason why they would want to combine their home console with a mobile aspect when they already excel extremely well in their handhelds.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive.
And
I feel like the general feeling that I got when I first played the Switch, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree with this, is you just kind of hold it in your hands and you think, is this it? Like, is this the new console, the new Nintendo home console? is this really all there is to it? Because it just doesn't feel innovative. It doesn't feel new. It feels like a tablet.
Right.
And it feels like a tablet you can dock to your TV, and that's
okay.
It doesn't feel new.
Now, just because we're downing the system, we're not downplaying the games, right? The games can still be good.
They can be good, yeah. I have no doubt that Splatoon 2 is good. I've heard everything I've heard about it is pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
same.
Not really my kind of thing, because one thing that I should get out of the way now is I don't really like multiplayer games that much.
Yeah.
I prefer playing games on my own or with friends, but not
but no
wide open multiplayer with people I don't know.
I can do both. Like for me, I can do both. I can play my single player games. I can play just with friends, and I can play online.
Yeah. And Breath of the Wild, I've played it. It's a step in the right direction for 3D Zeldas, because 3D Zeldas, by and large, have been very disappointing and boring, in my opinion. But it's still not that good on its own. It's very broad and not very deep. There's a lot of grinding. There's a lot of kind of diddling about, a lot of filler.
Yeah,
and
I've heard that.
Not a lot of content that feels worth it.
Okay.
So I remember I was talking to a friend at work about it, and he said that actually Breath of the Wild is probably just a mod for Skyrim for the Switch, and they're probably just testing it to see if it works on the Switch, because they share the same problem where it's very broad, very big, but not a lot's going on. And
just very few and far between things.
Yeah, but I mean, as Zelda games go, I don't like 3D Zelda games, but I liked Breath of the Wild fine enough. So
okay,
and personally, I'm excited for Super Mario Odyssey. It's
Same.
really good.
Same. So there's high hopes for the library, but the actual hardware itself, we can both agree that personally for us that it was very disappointing, lackluster, and probably a step in the wrong direction.
I would think so. When it comes to the core fans.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I have to feel conflicted about, is that even though it's a step in the wrong direction for us, it doesn't mean it's a step in the wrong direction for them. They're making a lot of money on the Switch.
Yes, they are.
So in that sense, is that a bad thing that they're making money? I don't know, but I can say from my own point of view, I feel like they're no longer aiming their business ventures at me as a demographic. And that's kind of a shame, because I like their products for the most part, and I still think they've got a lot of creativity in them. I'm just kind of afraid of the direction they're going and how it'll turn out.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt in their handhelds.
Yeah.
Because they always do such a good job with their handhelds, except for not packaging the stupid charger with it. That was such the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. But their handhelds are so good.
They are.
And I kind of neglect my 3DS, and I don't know why. I think just me personally, I can't play mobile games. I'll play them for 2 weeks, and I will never play it ever again, no matter how good it was.
Yeah.
I cannot do mobile games. And essentially, handhelds are like, definitely a super step up.
Yeah.
But they're similar, as in a small, tiny screen on the go game.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe it just doesn't hold my interest enough, but I definitely can agree that the handheld market for Nintendo is genius, and they need to keep doing what they're doing because it's really good.
Yeah.
So, okay. A lot of smart choices, but sadly, gems few and far between.
Yeah.
Wii U is almost like a ghost.
Yeah.
It was almost like a ghost.
Pretty much, here and there. Here and gone.
And Switch, it is making money. It is doing well financially, but the direction that it's going is worrisome.
It hints at creative bankruptcy, which I always depended on Nintendo for. I don't mind that the Xbox One is like the 360, which was like the Xbox, and that the PS4 is like the PS3, and I don't mind that too much, because it's like these are corporations. They're not, they're meant to build platforms that creative game designers can create games on. Nintendo has never had strong third-party support, and that's okay, because they were the creative ones. They could get away with that.
Yes.
But that became a problem with the Wii U, and especially now, I think, with the Switch. One thing that I want to discuss with the Switch is that it's because they're so far behind hardware-wise, they are losing their third-party support where they otherwise had it. And the big example for me, I think, is Monster Hunter World, where the only Monster Hunter game, mainline Monster Hunter game that was ever not Nintendo exclusive was the first Monster Hunter, which was for the PS2.
Yeah.
And that was like 2004. And ever since then, it's been
Nintendo.
Pretty much a Nintendo. It's like either Nintendo or Nintendo and like PlayStation or like PSP or PS2.
Yeah, a lot of the handhelds.
Mostly Nintendo. And
right.
Now it's not on Nintendo. It's
Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter World is gonna be
PS4.
multi-plat, PS4, Xbone, and PC. and it's not coming out on any Nintendo platform.
And you think that's due to the fact that how underdeveloped, like how
the hardware is scaled back. I think that third-party developers have been able to handle it because of the fact that it's Nintendo, so naturally it's going to be profitable for them, but also because it's close enough that they can kind of take out features here and there, and even push out those shovelware like Call of Duty ports and stuff that no one cares about. But they're not. I don't think they're as likely to do that anymore, just because it's so far behind. And I don't doubt that Capcom looked at it and were just like, we can't really do this anymore. Especially now that Monster Hunter Tri and Monster Hunter 4 were so popular in the U.S. They're like, we have to expand our market.
Those Monster Hunter DS games were like, apparently, like, I'm not too big into Monster Hunter. I'm not too crazy about them, but the 3DS Monster Hunter games are apparently like really extremely good. Now I remember during the E3 Nintendo conference when they were talking about the Switch, they remember that huge list that they showed of all the pictures of all those third-party developers that were jumping on board. So how do you feel about that? Like saying that you think they're going to lose support. Do you think that they're all going to back out? Has there been companies that have backed out already? I think that list was somewhat misleading. Okay. Because I have a feeling that a lot of those are actually companies who are allowing ports of their older games onto the Switch. And not newly developed games.
Actually developing for the Switch. Or otherwise doing the Wii and Wii U thing of developing for the other consoles and saying, yeah, you can have a version 2. It's just going to be... Okay, so you think rather than actually developing a brand new game for the console, they're just going to be like, hey, here's this old game that we have that we're allowing you to have the rights to. Because one of the members, one thing I noticed, one of the names on my list was From Software. And I'm like, what the fuck is From Software going to do on the Switch? They're not going to make a new Souls game for the Switch. No. Like, that's not going to happen. No. So maybe people have been musing they might port the old Dark Souls, maybe the trilogy, or something like that. Over to the Switch. Who knows? Maybe. But I can see a lot of ports. Yeah, I can see a lot of ports too, and that's fine, but that's not enough to sell a console. No. Especially with a console when they're trying to be that innovative, they need to come up with new, better ideas rather than just, oh, hey, here's a game that you already have for your better consoles. Yeah. Try it on the Switch. Yeah. It's like, why would I? I can just play it on my Xbox One or PS4. Or my PC. I can play it at 1080p. Perfect. Yeah. But like, I think the appeal is, it's like, oh yeah, well you can sit at home and play your 1080p, 60 FPS, Dark Souls 3 on your PC, or you can take it on the go with you. Yeah. And so that's the appeal it's kind of missing its mark on the demographic because Dark Souls is a core game. It is a game that mom and dad aren't going to play. No. Because it doesn't look like their kind of game. They're not, and if they die, the first time they die, they're like no. No thanks. But so it's a core game by any margin. It's a core game. But when you think of a core gamer, a hardcore quote unquote gamer, you don't think of someone who travels a lot and takes their games on the go and like that. Almost never happens. It never really happens. Like you might see people on the bus to work or school. Or maybe if they have a flight or something like that. And you can bust out your 3DS and, hell, even bust out like the Game Boy Advance SP. My hacked PSP, so I can play old SNES games. Yeah, on my hacked PSP, I could play PS1 games. So it was like, this is so sick. But does anyone even like really feel safe traveling with a Nintendo Switch? I don't think I would. With how rare it is and how the $300 price tag. Yeah. That's the other thing you got to think about is when you're traveling with like a 3DS, it is a lot easier to put it into your pocket. Yeah. It's a lot easier to carry it and it's not as expensive. Yeah. It's not worth as much. Yeah, exactly. But if you're traveling with a Nintendo Switch with how rare those are right now and how expensive the price tag is, $300, wouldn't you be scared? I would be a little bit nervous. I would be scared. I'd be scared I'd drop it. Yeah. to carry it around. Yeah. So that's the other thing you got to think about is how many people are truly carrying it around. The only time that I've actually ever seen any people bring it mobile is if they're going from one house to another house. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I've never seen someone just bust out a Switch on a bus or some other kind of public place. They usually have their DS because it's easy to hide. You can fit it in your pocket. It's not as expensive. It's not as risky. Right. So that's the other thing. Yeah. Who's actually carrying it around? I would never. I've never seen anyone do it. But then again, we don't live in a very heavily metropolitan area. Maybe it's more popular where public transportation is more popular. But yeah, maybe. The other problem is that if you're aiming at like keeping people entertained over long periods of time, the battery life is an issue. Because the Switch's battery life is pretty bad when it's mobile.
especially when you're trying to run a high-end game. Like, if you're Breath of the Wild, I think it's like 2 hours?
Something like that.
2.5 hours?
Yeah, I think like resting on the home screen is like 4.5 to 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm on a flight from here to, I don't know, Los Angeles, that's going to take at least 4.5, 5 hours if it's direct.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not around a charging port all the time. And, I mean, planes do tend to have outlets, but it's like there will always be situations where you don't have that option. Like if you're in a car, or if you're on a bus that doesn't have outlets, some do, some don't. So it's kind of like, I feel like that appeal is not as appealing when you really think about it. So it's just, I don't know, I feel like it all the way around missed the mark on being innovative or interesting.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like its own, well, to kind of fall back on the old criticism, it's just its own gimmick. Yeah. But not a good one.
It does scare me a bit. It does. And branching off, I think maybe this could be the last portion we talk about the Switch, is A, going back to cartridges.
Yeah.
And B, no backwards compatibility.
Right.
How do you think? I personally think the cartridges, that doesn't bother me too bad. I mean, yeah, sure, they taste like garbage and they taste like death. I had to. As soon as I heard that they put a special coating, I'm like, I got to do it.
You are a fool.
Yeah, you are right. But I was like, okay, cartridges, sure. All right, fine. Super easy to lose.
Yeah.
Incredibly easy to lose. So that's the scary part. No. But if you're a smart human being, listen to me, you pieces of garbage out there. If you have a wide collection of games, physical copies, put the damn game in its correct case and put it on a shelf. That game will last you an extremely long time. Don't just leave them on the floor. Don't just leave them everywhere. Put them in the case and put them where they belong. Thank you.
That was our public service announcement by Jordan. Thank
you,
Jordan.
Yep. No problem.
Yeah.
But not only that, I busted out my Wii to play Luigi's Mansion. Because my brother lost our GameCube, so we don't have a GameCube anymore. Yeah. So I was like, sick. I got a Wii. I can play my GameCube games on it. Yeah. And I love backwards. Xbox One, busting out the 360 backwards compatibility. And now the original Xbox backwards compatibility, playing Time Splitters 2. Boy! But that's the other thing that worries me, is I think the cartridges is also a step back. Mm-hmm. And having no backwards compatibility, granted the PS4 doesn't have backwards compatibility, but they have the good exclusives and the hardware to back it up.
Yep.
No, not having backwards compatibility, that becomes another issue. There is rumors spinning around the rumor mill, heard down the grapevine, if you will, that there will be backwards compatibility, but you have to purchase the games digitally.
Yeah, that's they have to, because
that's the only way.
It can't read any games besides maybe if they made like an extension for like reading home, like a handheld like 3DS or DS games, but I doubt it. It would have to be digital, and that's like, well, that works fine for older games because they feel quaint and they feel small. But I don't know how I feel about buying a Wii game digitally. It would especially because you don't have the control support anymore. Yeah. You couldn't do most of them. You could do Brawl, you could do Mario Kart, but you couldn't do games like No More Heroes. You couldn't do like
Red Steel.
That game. You couldn't do Resident Evil 4. You couldn't do a lot of games that came out on the Wii that were moderately successful. You couldn't do Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop.
That game. Let me tell you, why would I get it for my 360 or my Xbone when I could just get it for the Wii?
Have you ever played Dead Rising and thought, man, there are too many zombies on screen at once? Boy,
there's just too many
for you.
Chop Till You. Do you know if I was wanting to buy that game? Ironically,
I played it. I played it and beat it all the way through. I played that game. It's dumb. It's dumb and bad.
Godspeed.
It's the parrots have grenades. There are birds that just fly around, zombie birds, I assume, and flying around just dropping grenades.
That is absolutely ridiculous. I'm glad I played that game on the correct console.
On the correct console, yeah. Yeah. But anyway, the Switch.
Okay, the Switch. In general, that's oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay.
Not really feeling.
Now let's instead of so we got how we felt about the Wii U. We got how we feel. I think just real quick spiel about amiibos, because that is now a really big part of Nintendo. It really is now. That has earned them a lot of money.
Yes, it has.
So
the overhead on those things is real low.
Yeah.
It's
insane, the worth, and how much they're worth. Like right now, the main reason why, do you know regular Super Smash Bros. Link, one of the original 12 to be released, is now going. Last time I checked, which was about 2 weeks ago, was running for like $64.
Holy shit.
These things are insane how much they're worth.
Yeah.
The collector value is insane.
Yeah.
So the amount of money they're making off of this is incredible. And the figurines aren't bad. They're actually pretty well detailed. They're nice.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a cash grab.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is 100% a cash grab. And when I used to work in the electronics department at Meyer, when we got Amiibos in, when Robin came out,
Yeah.
we got 2 of him. Never got him ever again.
Yep.
2.
Yep.
The marketing for that was good. They really showed it off. They showed all the stuff that, what they can do, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But how hard they made it to get those was... I hated it. I hated it so much. It seems so unnecessary.
They're doing the same thing with the Switch.
Yep.
It's artificial scarcity, and I think that's bullshit.
I agree.
And like from a monetary perspective, it's kind of a gamble because you're kind of anticipating people wanting your product enough to pay exorbitant prices for it.
Yep.
And it's not well. So when a scalper buys 12 copies of the Switch, the Nintendo doesn't get profit from the resales because he's just taking that money for himself. But you have one person who would otherwise have bought one Switch and that had 11 others that may not have sold. Now all 12 of them were sold to the same person. That's where Nintendo's profit comes in, is that it guarantees that their copies, the original ones, will sell out. 100% sales, which is something that you can't promise with a normal business strategy. But the problem is that it's kind of indicative, I think, of the major problem with Nintendo is that it sacrifices the ability for gamers, for players to enjoy Nintendo's products for the sake of profit. And it's like, that feels really, really nasty. That doesn't feel good.
Just having to play this waiting game.
Exactly.
Of just, when the hell am I going to get this Nintendo product? When are they going to re-release this Amiibo? When are they going to start coming up with more Switches?
Yeah.
To release Switches.
Why are people still waiting for the Switches they ordered on or after release day? What's going on? It's just Nintendo just trying to make 100% profits. Or 100% sales, not only profits, but make 100% sales so that their board of directors feel good about how the sales are going. All of our Nintendo Switches are selling out. People must like it. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, sure, like any other console they like it, but it's just there's not enough. Because every time a console producer ships out so many thousands of units to retailers of these consoles, there will be ones that go unsold.
Right.
Most console developers don't see that as being a problem. But Nintendo does, and so they try to fix that in an artificial and kind of dishonest way by simply shipping out fewer consoles.
Yeah, and that's what it was with the Amiibos. There was some that you could find left and right, but there were others. If you didn't wait at like Best Buy and wait till they opened to get Meta Knight, you weren't gonna get Meta Knight.
Yeah,
you were not.
I very much so. For me, I don't like Amiibos because I don't like any kind of paywall for content.
Yes.
I don't like
physical
DLC. I don't like it. I'm staunchly anti DLC in any case.
Yep.
But I believe that that physical DLC is a terrible almost exploitative
exploit.
way to make money off of the content in your game. I 20 times more dislike store exclusive DLC or pre-order content.
Yeah, yes,
that's
exactly.
horseshit. If I have to if I have to buy multiple copies of a game or a system or what have you to get all of the content possible for a game, that's horseshit.
Right.
I don't agree with that at all. And that's why I don't like Amiibos in general because they take advantage of so many of these complicated practices that make them money, sure, but that just feel really businessy. Just really annoyingly businessy, and I'm just like, I don't want any part of it.
Coming from someone that's not a scalper, but just an Amiibo hunter in general, the only Super Smash Brothers Amiibo that I am missing is the female version of Corrin, which, get this, is an Amazon exclusive.
Oh my god.
Amazon. I don't get it. I don't get it. I hate because Jigglypuff in Smash has always been one of my mains in every single Smash Brothers game, even though she's garbage in Brawl and she's garbage in Kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Wii U. Smash Wii U.
Yeah.
But I love Jigglypuff.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Target exclusive, and lo and behold, we don't have a Target. So I was like, sick.
Guess I gotta travel.
Guess who had to spend $35 to get her on Amazon? I did.
God, that's not.
And
worth
I did.
It.
I know. I've never. That was the most I ever paid for an amiibo, though.
Okay.
I never got into the 50s. I never got into the 100s. I did not spend that much. But luckily for me, I've gotten easily 99% of all of them.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So, the only with the DLC aspect of the amiibos is the DLC isn't necessary.
No,
it's just little bonus stuff. Like, if you want this fancy amiibo exclusive Splatoon outfit set, then you can get the amiibo. But you don't need the amiibo to play the game.
No, true.
Yes,
but I don't like the concept that to get content that is in the game,
you have to go out and hunt it down.
Go and buy your fucking toys. Like, I don't want them, but you're making it. You're giving me a reason to buy something I otherwise would not want to buy for something that should have been in the game, even if it was DLC. In the first place, should have been digital.
Yep.
It seems you're adding an extra step just so you can make money off of it. And I'm not to say that the amiibos they are decent figurines.
Yeah.
If you want them as figurines, that's fine.
That's why I want them.
A lot of them are really cool. A lot like the Zero Suit Samus one, pretty well detailed.
Yeah,
they kept the booty.
They kept the butt. That was number one.
Or the regular Samus amiibo is pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean all of them are pretty decent for $12.
Yeah.
But it's just the concept of physical DLC of any kind, even if it's cosmetic, even if it's just little things here and there, like the fucking, or even thing like Hyrule Warriors had an amiibo exclusive to summon Wolf Link from Twilight Princess. You needed the amiibo.
Yep.
And I don't like that because I would have loved to have played as Wolf Link in that game if I had it or played
without having to buy the toy.
Buy a fucking toy. It's frustrating to me as someone who likes to keep his games in the game and
not have to go to outside sources.
Go and get extra crap. That's why I don't like extra peripherals for a gimmick. Like that's why I never owned a DDR dance pad. You know, it's why I would never have bought a PlayStation Move controller. I don't give a shit. I just want to sit down and play my video games with a controller.
Yep.
With the content that came in that video game. And if I have to go through extra effort to get that content after I already spent the time and the money to get the game itself, it's just like you're squeezing it out of me. I don't like that.
Yeah, that feeling is like, I definitely can agree with you on that because, like I said, the main reason why I get amiibos is because I just like the figures. That's it. Done. Like I don't need the DLC. I don't need it. I just like them. I think they're cool.
Yeah.
Done. But I can definitely agree with that aspect that it's just it's extremely annoying having to hunt down physical DLC for your game. I definitely understand the frustration, and it is a cash grab. It did help Nintendo.
It did.
It helped them a lot.
Yes, it did.
But it was a cash grab.
Yeah,
it was,
and it was. I remember they also marketed it like, the amiibos aren't just going to be add-ons to the games you already have. They're going to be important for future games too.
Yeah.
And that never happened. They had Amiibo Land, which no one played.
In Yoshi's Woolly World, you could use all the amiibos to unlock different skinned woolly Yoshis.
Yeah.
So you could use like the Smash Bros one, but then again, it wasn't anything too significant.
It was like the different sprites for Mario Maker.
Yeah.
You could get different Smash characters in Mario Maker as well as DLC for other crazy characters.
So it's like super cool, but
yeah, it's cool that they did that kind of thing they kept the support up.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough to justify having to pay that much money or go through that much effort for people, especially people like us who don't live in places with a lot of retailers.
Yeah.
Who live in small Midwestern towns where it's like we've got Walmart, we've got Meijer, we've got, other smaller places, but none of them are going to be exclusive except for Walmart. And we don't even have a Target anymore because the people who own our mall are just fucking awful and no one wants to work with them. And so it's like it just feels like it's screwing over the consumer for the sake of the profit and only giving a little bit back in return. That's not really worth it.
Yeah.
Like I could imagine someone spending a lot of time and money on their amiibo collections, and then 6 months later looking at it and be like, why the fuck did I spend well over $500 on this?
Right.
Because it's just there's not much to it. It's not worth it. At least not to me.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I think a good way to end this or get close to ending this is let's talk about good Nintendo.
Yeah.
Let's talk about good Nintendo. Obviously, we have really good things to say about the sadly money-wise the GameCube and how it wasn't too successful.
No, and it had a really small library too.
It did. It actually had a very small library, but
like
a
150 games or something.
lot of people like super praise that console.
Yeah.
Like everybody I met is like the GameCube is incredible, and I love the GameCube. I love the Nintendo 64. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that they're both. I love the mini discs. That was so novel. I was like, look how tiny these discs. I'm like, these are so sick.
It's cute.
I'm like, it's so cool.
And it was okay because the games that were being released on the GameCube didn't need that much data. So it was like, okay, they don't have full DVDs like the other competitors do, but that's all right. But like I have to say, the Nintendo 64 had a great library.
Yes.
But the console itself wasn't that great. I don't agree with the controller.
I don't know what happened.
That was some kind of crazy
with that controller.
I don't agree with expansion packs being a solution to Nintendo staunchly refusing to go with discs. I don't agree with them staunchly refusing to go with discs either.
Yeah.
I don't believe that was a good choice. But I mean I can kind of see it from their perspective. They don't want to move too fast out of what made them famous.
Yep.
Sony didn't have to worry about that with PlayStation. They already knew they were going to be using discs.
Yep.
Same with Microsoft. Nintendo had always had cartridges. They didn't want to lose their heritage. I can kind of understand that.
Yeah, it's got to go back to that cartridge. Go back to what made them them.
Yeah,
essentially,
and what made them them. But I mean, I don't. The expansion pack thing was you had to have one to save certain games.
Yep, I remember that.
That's so strange because the main appeal of a cartridge is the fact that you can save your games on it.
Yeah,
you can write information to it. It's read and write memory. It's not just read only like CDs and DVDs are. So it's like, well, if you're not going to have that benefit in these games, what's the point of having a cartridge with less power and less storage space? I didn't like that. So the Nintendo 64 I didn't think was a great console. It had a great library though. They made up for it in spades with some of their games.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the console was amazing, but I would just have to say, just like Nintendo definitely has some fantastic. Obviously, they have fantastic games. Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, their first party production is
it's spot on.
Yeah,
it really is, and like I said, I just have those few games for like Nintendo that will just stay with me for like the rest of my life that I'll always truly love. Like obviously, Luigi's Mansion is a huge one for me.
Yeah.
That game I could play all the time, and just something about that game is just so good.
It's really cool.
And Nintendo was a big part of my childhood. Like I said, the first game I ever consciously remember playing as a child was Super Mario 64. And every time I hear that saved data,
the save menu music.
The save menu music, my nostalgia explodes. I love it. I can listen to it for hours.
The Koji Kondo, the composer for the Super Mario 64 soundtrack, and others like Ocarina of Time, and he's been a big part of the soundtracks of the N64 era. He is so good at writing memorable melodies. Very. Oh my god! And he did so much good work with the sound set they had on the N64. Yeah. It just a lot of if you listen to the sound the sound fonts they used for that music, a lot of the sounds they had to work with were kind of weird and dumb, but he made them work really well.
So good.
Yeah, the N64 the Super Mario 64 soundtrack was good, but one of the examples of one of the problems I had with the cartridge-based system is they did not have enough space to have different songs for each level. So you know how toward the end of the game you heard the secret slide song every single level? It was in Tick Tock Clock and Rainbow Road, both of which were in Rainbow Cruise, both of which were right next to each other. Yeah, like that. Yeah, didn't like that. I understand. And if they had more storage space capability, but then again they didn't want Mario 64 to be one of those games you need an expansion pack for. So it's kind of switch it up. But yeah, so they had a lot of creativity, and for a long time they put a lot of effort into making sure their games were fun.
Mario Kart Double Dash. I almost forgot about that. Still to this day, I think the best Mario Kart game. Mario Kart Double Dash.
Far and away the best Mario Kart game.
Yeah, that game is... Oh my god. I honestly, personally, I think it goes Mario Kart Double Dash, then Mario Kart 8. Yeah. Mario Kart 8 is truly incredible, in my opinion.
Both of those games had something that none of the other games had, and that was interesting track design.
Yeah.
I think that was one thing that Mario Kart Double Dash and 8 both excelled in that wasn't really touched with a lot of the other ones, even like the 64. Yeah. Where they did their best, but they weren't... I mean, 64 was limited by its capabilities.
Yeah, of course.
Those tracks have to be big to be interesting, and they couldn't have been.
Yeah, no, it was really dumbed down by, like I said, the cartridge-based system.
But then again, Mario Kart 8 also had DLC.
It had paid DLC.
You could play as Danica Patrick. No, that was Sonic.
That was
Sonic All-Star Racing Transform.
Which that game was actually
really good.
Yeah,
but
speaking
still,
of novelty racing games.
But Mario Kart 8 had the Link DLC.
Yeah, you could play as Link, you could play as Villager, you could play as Isabelle.
Mercedes. That's what it was. They had Mercedes-Benz carts.
Yes, they did.
That's what it was. That was the dumb,
sick.
the stupid... why?
Sick.
Why?
In a stupid way.
Oh my god, so bad. God. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, I mean, Nintendo is always one thing to wrap up. I think Nintendo has always been interested in keeping their games fun, and I can appreciate that.
Yes.
I can appreciate them going for somewhat riskier concepts to... Not even riskier concepts, but concepts that, I guess...
are more
unexpected.
out there. Yeah, they're just out there.
Concepts just because they know it'll be fun. Like
yeah,
they more than any other company will look at a game series that the consumers want to see and continue it because they know the consumers want to see it.
Yeah,
I mean, like even like Metroid Prime is getting a new game because I'm pretty sure because everyone wanted a new Metroid
exactly.
Prime
I was gonna say who hasn't been asking?
You had a bunch of like Wario Land games because people loved those games.
Love Wario Land.
Wario Land's amazing.
They're so good. They're
honestly better than most Super Mario games, I think.
So different.
And even though they have been using the same characters since 1985 with the same concepts and formulas, they always manage to mix it up in a way that makes it feel good.
Mario vs. Rabbids.
Mario versus fucking right. God damn. I was like, Nintendo, give me a rabbit in a Peach costume taking a selfie. That appeals to me.
That's what I need in my life.
I don't know what the fuck they're thinking.
I have no idea.
But anyway,
yeah,
we're trying to talk about good Nintendo here.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can both agree that by far, I think Nintendo best excels in handhelds.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All of them.
Yeah.
Like honestly, where they started faltering, I think, is when they did like the DSi.
That was weird.
The DSi was weird, and then they just boom, 3DS.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. Back to it.
Pop back up. Yeah. They managed to make a gimmick that was completely unnecessary, but still interesting enough that people would want to buy it.
Yeah.
And then there were people like me who didn't buy the 3DS. And I'm like, I'm not paying more for a feature I don't want. And then they came out with the 2DS and like, you know what, asshole? If that's going to be your gripe, here, have this thing. And I'm like, I'll take it.
Okay, take my money.
And so far, the only game I've ever beaten on the 2DS was Majora's Mask 3D. And was
it worth it? All right,
Roo.
Constant positivity.
Well, that's me. And technically Smash 4. But,
yeah.
You know, it's like that takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that their handheld consoles have always been really good.
I honestly really don't have almost anything to complain about when it comes to their handhelds. Just a few things here and there, like very minor things, but honestly nothing really to be brought like worth out. Like seriously, like the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance SP, DS, DS Lite, DSi, 3DS, 3DS XL, the 2DS. The tablet thing kind of threw me off a little bit with the 2DS, like the glorified doorstop.
The axe head.
Yeah. That design really threw me off.
And it really kneecaps the portability of it.
Oh, yeah.
But
for sure.
Like I always had pants with big pockets on them because I liked storing stuff in my pockets. But like for other people, without pants with big pockets on them, it's kind of tough to carry that thing around.
It's easier for little kids, though. It's harder for them to break with the hinges and like snapping it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was good in that way, but it was just a really awkward design. Yeah. But their handhelds are fantastic. They're so good.
When it comes to design choices, we forgot to plug my laptop. When it comes to design choices that I disagree with when it comes to the mobile games, I would have to say it would be, or not the mobile games, but the consoles. I would have to say that it would be the lack of a charging cable for the new 3DS.
Yes.
And the fact that the Game Boy SP needed an adapter to plug your headphones in.
Oh, well, wow. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's one thing I always hated. I was like, oh, God, why?
Yeah. And so overall, just like a quick summary, like, of course, like the NES and stuff like that, that's amazing. That's phenomenal. The things that they're pulling with the NES Classic are stupid garbage bullshit.
Yep.
The Wii was great in its own right. The Wii U was a failure. The Switch is definitely really weird. Their handheld consoles are amazing. And then Amiibos are just like kind of a cash grab. their games are great.
Yeah, their first party games.
Their first party games, for the most part,
good.
are just really, really good. Yeah. So it's just in the end, it just seems like we both kind of worry about where Nintendo's gonna go from here.
I don't feel personally invested in their success because I feel like,
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, if Nintendo were to somehow die or disband or change completely, then I don't think it would really, for me anyway, I wouldn't be too hurt by it, but I would miss them.
Yeah.
I want them to be a good company again.
Same, of course.
And I believe in them so much because of their design choices, but it's starting to fail.
It's getting hard, yeah. Just like with
who do I believe in?
Yeah, who do you trust? It's kind of hard. And then, so yeah, I think that's about it for the Nintendo episode.
That would be our thoughts on Nintendo as a whole.
One thing that actually blew my mind is, with not counting what I'm about to say right now, Pokemon wasn't brought up once, and that is probably their biggest carrier of their handheld systems.
Yeah.
It are the mainline Pokemon games.
That's true.
That's why I seriously had an original DS, the red one. The red original
Yeah,
DS that came
those.
with Mario Kart DS,
Yeah.
which was great. Mario Kart DS was great.
That was alright.
Not as good as Mario Kart 7, though. That was a good one.
Yeah, Mario Kart 7 was better,
Yeah.
and then Mario Kart Wii was terrible.
Yes, I agree. But the Pokemon games single-handedly carry. I'd never bought a DS Lite. I never bought a DSi. I never bought a 3DS. It took me until X and Y to come out, and I bought a 3DS XL, the blue X and Y edition, just for the new Pokemon games.
Jeez.
So the Pokemon games are incredible, absolutely incredible games, except for this most recent one.
Yeah.
Little baby, little hand-holdy.
Alola.
But the Pokemon games are something that we kind of was absent from this discussion. But just real quick, the Pokemon games are definitely a staple in their handhelds and what's really carrying their handhelds.
I don't like playing Pokemon games because I don't like turn-based attack systems.
Yep.
But I do admit that they are pretty well-made games. They're good for kids.
Yep.
And they're very accessible and they're very fun to kind of, not fun to play for me anyway, but fun to look at.
Yeah.
And good music.
Yeah,
Great music
absolutely.
in the Pokemon series.
Absolutely.
So yeah. I'm glad I don't follow the Pokemon series because that gets expensive.
Very.
And you have to buy every handheld console they've made. I bought a Nintendo DS to play Elite Beat Agents.
Good.
And I bought a 2DS for Smash and Majora's Mask 3D.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Right.
So
yeah, this ends the Nintendo episode of how we feel about Nintendo. Do not try the Switch cartridges; they are awful.
As in eating them. Don't
Don't eat, don't lick, don't taste.
Just don't
it's a bad time.
Just don't. Just take everyone's advice. Everyone, just don't do it.
Yeah. And I guess thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
J&J Radio Show.
J&J Radio Show.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Good. Bye.